Hello, travelers. I haven't really had time to consult Nostradamus, but I just saw something on the BBC, and when I saw it, Nostradamus kind of crept in to kind of give some information. And so my desk is a mess. Let me turn it around, okay? Jessica Adams sent me this wonderful book, and I've got to get it all bound together. But let me move these out of the way here. So what I saw was there's information around that he is asking the leader of Belarus to try to speak with Zelensky of Ukraine. But also he's going to be sending a delegation to Minsk to, I guess, try to resolve this issue. So let me explain, if as best I can. This is not some random thing that Vladimir Putin decided to just do, okay? I think he is one of the most craftiest world leaders that has ever existed. He's extremely crafty. He worked his way up from the bottom of the KGB. For all intents and purposes, kind of never stood out and never drew attention to himself, and then ended up becoming president of the new Russian Federation, right? He does not do things just because he can do them. There's always something in it for him. And as a tactician, he's, I think, probably, as I say, one of the most crafty world leaders that has ever lived. And so he wants something. It's not that just he's invading. He doesn't really want to take Ukraine back. There's something else that he wants. But I think the idea, based upon what I've seen in the cards, the idea of him invading the Ukraine and taking Ukraine back feeds into something that is really rather personal for him. And I'll explain that in a moment. But he also understands that he can't continue doing what he's doing because the opposition is against him. And I think ultimately what will bring this situation, at least calm it down, is the idea of how he's going to be viewed in history. Okay? And I'll explain that in a second. I can remember, he speaks fluent English, and I can remember that scene when Obama was first elected president and they met face to face, and Putin was cordial and nice and spoke to him in English. And then as time went on, for whatever reason, then he started calling Obama a monkey and then refused to talk English with him, which is kind of like an insult because Russians speak English better than Americans speak English, okay? And so they study it. It's part of their education. They all know how to speak English for the most part. And so I feel that what is happening here is the invasion into Ukraine is kind of twofold. It is a way for him on a personal level to be seen in a particular light, or to feed into some type of self-aggrandizement thing for himself. But it is also a way in which he can come to the negotiation table and ask for something, okay? And I think whatever it is he's going to ask for is going to be costly and expensive, and it may not be agreed to, all right? So I pulled 3 cards, and my question was, what does Putin want out of this situation? The answer is the 4 of Moons, the 2 of Suns, and the Devil. Those are the only 3 cards I pulled at first. And when I got to the reference of the Devil, I got a little spooked, okay? I did. I got a little spooked. So I went ahead and looked up, compared with the book that came with the cards, what the meaning or the interpretations were. And then I went further by looking at the full quatrains in the book that Jessica Adams sent to me. Okay, thanks, Jessica. So let's start with the, and after doing that, then I came up with this card. This has hands on the city. I don't know if you can see those. Those are hands. So this tells me Kyiv is going to fall. And they're saying within the next 3 to 4 days. I think it will be, it might be around that time. It could be a bit sooner. What I find particularly odd about this is it's like a slow rolling invasion. Believe me, if they really wanted to go in and just take, they would just go in and do it, okay? Russia has a lot of military equipment and lots of people, and you know, they've got the equipment to do it. And so it's kind of odd to me that it's kind of this slow rolling invasion coming in. Now, the Four of Moons. I'm going to tell you what the book says, and then I'm going to read you the actual quatrain from this book that was printed in 1648. It starts out with forgeries of gold and silver multiply so that after their seizure they are thrown in the lake. Well, that kind of didn't make any sense to me, but this is what it says. You may feel divided, stressed, and weary. Accept this as a period of rest and reflection and try to believe in yourself. Now, this is quite an interesting kind of a thing for them to be talking about. But I kind of get the sense that it stretches from dullness to extreme boredom and even self-loathing. And I kind of think that this is speaking to the internal workings of Putin. Here, the papal figure seems less positive, despite being balanced by the power of the pen and the banner with the cross keys. It is this threatening serpent approaching from the left. The left is always considered sinister in the ancient world. That accounts for this. Okay? Now, I went back and I looked up the actual quatrain. Let me get it here. It was the first one with purple. It was 828. I think that's right, the purple. Hold on, bear with me. 29, 30, 28. The images swelled with gold and silver, which after the rape were thrown into the lake and fire, being discovered after the putting out of the fire, shall be written in marble, prescripts being intermixed. It's saying that it seems that the gold and silver idols have been, I don't know, this is Old English, were afterwards thrown into the lake and fire, which fire being put out, those idols were found, and the memorial engraved in marble. I think this kind of harkens back to the idea of what Russia used to be. So that whole diatribe that he was giving about the great Russian empire, all of the idols of Marx and Lenin being destroyed after the fall of the Soviet Union, kind of that there's this nostalgia, okay? After the rape were thrown into the lake and fire, but being discovered after the putting out of the fire. So now that things have settled down in the years that he's been there, he has now decided that he wants to bring these idols back out, and he wants to engrave them in marble. He wants to bring them back out. He wants them to resurface. The second card was the Two of Suns. Now, this card has the association of Mars with it, and we know that Mars is the god of war, right? It speaks about, from the book, reaching the pinnacle of your life but not being satisfied with it. So what do? It also speaks about the end of the world. Now, don't freak out. Okay? Let me read you the interpretation from the book. 148. Let's see. 20 years of the reign of the moon being past, 7,000 years another shall hold his monarchy. When the sun shall reaffirm his days past, then is fulfilled and endeth my prophecy. All this signifies no more, but that the author's prophecies extend to the end of the world. Now, don't freak out by hearing that, because I don't think that it is a literal end of the world. I think it is the end of the world as we shall know it. Okay, this is about a new world order being established. For Putin to threaten other countries if they try to interfere in any way, they have more nuclear weapons than any other country on the face of the earth. I personally myself don't believe that he would actually do that, but then you never can tell, right? And so what is happening now, there's going to be a new shift or balance of power here. He's decided to flex his muscles, and trust me, when he comes to the table for this, I don't know, negotiation in Minsk, he will, whatever he's asking for, as I say, is going to be costly, because right now he's pretty much got Europe by the short and curlies. Okay? And there's not a whole lot they can do. And so this is why the Security Council is hesitant to actually do the full weight of the sanctions, because he can cut off the oil to them at any time, which means their lights go out. Okay? But also, if we are looking at his trek into Ukraine, we have to look at all of the other old Soviet bloc countries. So you're looking at places like Czechoslovakia, Poland, oh God, there were so many other little satellite portions that were the past Soviet bloc countries, and I can't name them all because after the split up, they kind of, some of them changed their names and did some other things. So there's that whole idea that, you know what, if we piss this guy off, not only can he cut off the lights on us, but he may decide to march forward, which was really interesting because of what came up next. What came up next was the devil. This has some interesting things in it as well. Again, it's kind of speaking to perhaps his personal motivation behind what is happening. It is a fantasy of self-aggrandizement transferred to adulthood. Liking to break rules, to act selfishly, to fulfill your own desires, irrespective of how this may affect others. It revolves around deceit, lies, and trickery, or devilish influences. Okay? Now, it's an upright, so we're looking at self-aggrandizement, power out of control, passion, lust, malevolence, self-destruction, subservience, violence, unprincipled behavior, and psychosis. I thought that was interesting because some months back I had read a story where he'd been diagnosed with Parkinson's. And so I've been trying to figure out if what he's doing on his own, or if this could be some kind of, I don't know, side effect or delusion from Parkinson's, particularly with a lot of the language that he's using, how he's describing the Ukrainian government. He keeps speaking about Nazism, and this card reflects that. The prophetic reference, according to the book, speaks about the rise of Adolf Hitler. Now, and we know, perhaps, I mean, I don't doubt that he says, if, you know, that he may be willing to do it. I don't think he will, but, I mean, you can't tell. The guy's crafty. So, the original quatrain is 224. Now, let me, I don't know where I put it. Hold on. That was 48. So if I'm not mistaken, 24 is here. Let me see here. Yes. It is here. If I'm not mistaken. Just give me 1 second because I had it figured out. Hold on. 24. $27. No. No. Hold on. Oh my God. 1 second. I'm sorry. It's 227. That's why I can't find it. 227. I think it's here. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Hold on. I'm missing a page. It has to be one page. Oh, where is it? Bear with me. I thought it was on the same page. 148. I read that one. 148. "20 years the reign of the moonbeam passed." There it is. So that was the second card. That is the Two of Sons. This is century 2, 27. That was, the Devil is 224. Ah, that's what I'm looking for. 224. Oh, just bear with me. That's not right. I should have marked it. Bear with me. Bear with me. 224 is the Devil. There's century 2. Now I know why I don't have it. Hold on. Because it's right here, I do believe. No, that's not it. 2. Did I take the stinking thing off of there? It's the green. That's the purple. Hold on. I had them marked with... Ah, here it is. 224. That's 25. 24. Wild beast. For hunger shall swim over rivers. Most part of the field shall be near Ister. Into an iron cage he shall cause the great one to be drawn. When the child of German shall observe nothing. Ister is a river. German is a proper name of some considerable person whose son shall not observe or take notice, when that eminent person mentioned here shall be drawn into an iron cage. I'm going to have to put this somewhere because I don't know why it's like that, so I can put it back together. The card here refers to Adolf Hitler. Okay? He's saying Ister, which could be a reference that everybody talks about, that famous reference about Hitler, that he was off a couple of letters by naming him. To me, I think what this is saying, maybe in one way he does want to march through like Hitler, in which case it is all to appease his own ego. Right? That he's 69 years old. He's reaching his pinnacle. He may be in bad health. He wants to do this grand thing of reuniting all of the countries back under the Soviet banner. Okay, because he's just not satisfied with this life. To me, I think the key to this card, because I don't want to freak anybody out, is that I feel that Germany's going to be key in the way that whatever it is that he's asking for, that Germany's going to have to play a very, very critical role in, what's the word, making this move forward. I think even the imagery is quite interesting. We see the Pope chasing the bear, running the bear out of the picture. Okay? So nobody wants another World War III. Nobody wants another individual like Hitler coming to pass. No one wants to go through, particularly with the weapons that we have now, a situation of a mass invasion, okay, into Western Europe, right? So although I think it references Hitler, I think the idea, it says he shall be drawn into an iron cage. German is a proper name of some considerable person. Now, I don't know if that's true. Whose son shall not observe or take notice when that eminent person mentioned here shall be drawn into a cage. I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know if it's that he will go to the table and say he's going to ask Germany for X, Y, and Z. You know, he draws them into a cage. Or if Germany is going to actually be the country who's going to, considering particularly that Hitler came from their country, that they're going to be instrumental in trying to either quell this or provide him whatever it is that he's asking for to get him to back down. Over the whole reading is the Seven of Moons. Okay, and that quatrain is 227, and I think that's why I was kind of confused, because 227, the divine word shall be struck by heaven, so that he shall proceed no further. The secret of the close keeper shall be so closed up that people shall tread upon and before it. So here the person is saying that it's not necessarily that he's talking about the Trinity, because then that would just be about the divine or some theologian. He says that the meaning is that a theologian shall be struck by heaven. That is, he shall die, so that he shall proceed no further in his work. Which I suppose by the last two verses was the philosopher's stone. For in the last two verses he saith that the secret of the close keeper, that is, of him that wrought secretly, shall by his death be so closed up that people shall tread on and before it. Now, I guess if you listen to what Putin was saying, that he's got his own, I don't know, philosophy. He was trying to throw a little bit of theology over in there. I heard Sergei Lavrov also kind of espousing these things, but it speaks about this person being struck by heaven. Now, does that mean that he's going to be, is there going to be lightning striking this person, or that maybe perhaps it could be something sudden and unexpected? Okay. But that it says he shall die, so that he shall proceed no further in his work. He speaks about the philosopher's stone, which brings me back to the gold and metals here. So I don't necessarily feel that this is really about natural resources. On the one hand, that is an extension of it. But the philosopher's stone is this idea of being able to turn lead into gold. right? Taking something that is heavy and worthless and really doesn't have any necessarily value and turning it into something that is gold. So to me, this whole idea of him having gone into Ukraine, it's like lead. It's a weight around his neck. You see swift condemnation coming from all over. There are still some things that a few of the European countries refuse to do because he's got them by the short and curlies because he provides all the oil to them. Okay? So I think he's going to try to take this thing and try to turn it into something that really is gold. This way, he can have idols erected to him. He can bring back the glory of the Soviet Union. He can die, quote unquote, a happy man and not feel insignificant, like he has done something. I think he's a very, very complex individual. I think he is, and that whole idea about perhaps him having Parkinson, you know, it could be this whole idea that he doesn't have long, or he's already starting to show the signs or the symptoms. I understand that sometimes hallucinations are part of Parkinson's. It could be any number of things, but there is this, it is a personal motivation for him. But at the same time, he's wrapped his personal motivation up with, let's say, the narrative or the legend of how great the Soviet Union is, and it took him to bring that greatness back. So even though I gave you this information and I'm talking about Hitler and the end of the world and whatnot, really, this is not the feeling that I get. I just think it is the end of the balance of power as we have known it. This was a masterful move by Putin. Believe me when I say that it's not. Ukraine is a means to an end. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going to lose their lives because of that. But his power grab or his move into Ukraine really has nothing to do with Ukraine. It's something personal for him. It's something that he personally wants. Whether this is accolades, recognition, new statues put up, the old statues of Lenin and Marx going back up, you know, whatever the case may be. But that, I also think Germany is going to be playing a major role in helping to stem the tide or the bleeding of whatever this is. It won't be fast. It will be ugly. It will be highly intense and highly emotional. I think that the German people in particular feel this quite heavily because it looks like and smells like their old boy Hitler. Okay? And that is the fear. That is the fear, the karma of Hitler coming back to haunt Germany. And so it is going to be, I mean, embodied in a person. And so it is going to be, I feel, up to Germany to figure out some way to, like I said, settle this. We shall see what happens in Minsk. I know that Putin has authorized, what's his name, the president of Belarus to go over and talk to Zelensky, and that's going to go nowhere because he's going to go over there and tell him you need to give up and you need to leave and you need to tell them to lay down their arms and you need to come on and let Putin do this, and he's not going to do that. He's just not that kind of guy. I'm also kind of curious as to why Viktor Orban is extremely quiet. He's got his little fingers stuck into stuff too, and so that probably could be the next person that we need to really keep our eye on, even though, what's the country that I don't know the country off the top of my head for that Viktor Orban is over, but he doesn't have the military might of, what do you call it, Russia, but maybe he's got Putin's ear. You know, make way for him, get Putin to open the doors and to make way for him to come through after. So we shall see how this all turns out. And so that's what I have for you. I hope you found that interesting. I think it kind of, at least for me, kind of explains really what is going on Because like I say, Putin doesn't just do things, randomly do things. He's always got a long game. He's got his eye on something. And so this could just simply have been a way for him to say, okay, look, y'all need to pay attention to me now. He could be at the end of his life, right? Okay, and I need to do something so I can get people to pay attention to me so I can do something grand and wonderful, whatever the case may be. Why he chose it to do it this way, I don't know. I just noticed that I have Nostradamus misspelled. Here, let's fix that. There we go. And so, until next time, be well, stay safe. Watch, keep your eyes on the Russian people. I think that was one that I gave you. And again, Alexei Navalny, even though he is still in prison, keep your eye that the Russian people coming out to protest at great personal expense to themselves, I think is another thing that you should watch. It is difficult to know exactly what is going on across the entire country of Russia because it's so large. A lot of places are still very rural and out in the sticks and the boonies, but keep your eye on this. It is not over. It is going to be a long, drawn-out process. I am not necessarily... I am a bit concerned for the welfare of President Zelensky. It is a slow-moving invasion, but I think that if something happens to that guy, just like I told you about Navalny, if something happens to him, if they capture him and something really bad happens to him, like they kill him or something of that nature, it's going to be hell to pay. It really will be. Because that's like an assassination attempt. It goes all the way back to the assassination of, was it Duke Ferdinand that caused the Second World War? Okay, nobody ever thought that would lead to war either, but really, I mean, that's the thing. And so, again, I don't really think that Putin wants to start World War III, but I think if his back is pressed against the wall, that he would have no qualms doing it. That guy's he's got some issues, but he's crafty. And I think, as I say, the secret of his success throughout his whole career, from starting at the bottom of the KGB all the way ascending to, the presidency, is because people have underestimated him. He has a face that you can't read. He's got this weird little walk. He's a short guy in stature. You never see him. I think watching him speak the other day on TV was the angriest I've ever seen him. But at the same time, it wasn't based in logic or reason. So it was really one of the strangest things I'd ever seen. And so keep your eye out on that, and we shall see how it goes. So let's look towards Minsk. Let's look towards the guy over in Belarus. See what he coming with. I'm telling you what he coming with is bunk. Zelensky is not going to go for that. And so... and then let's see what Germany does. I think it all will rest really in the hands of the Germans. And so until next time, be well, stay safe, and namaste.